My name is Bartłomiej Wróblewski, and as the moderator mentioned, my colleague Olesia Petrenko, she is with us today online. So we will be also cooperating in a long distance way. And we both work at the University of West Bohemia at the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, and we are the guarantors of all the subjects that the engineering students are, English subjects that the engineering students are provided with. So what we decided to do with my colleague, we decided to just check if what we actually teach, what we actually have in our courses is, if that is suitable for our students, if we meet their needs. So we decided to conduct a needs analysis and to check if we might need to redesign our English for mechanical engineers courses. So that's what I will be focusing on today.
Can you just increase the screen?
Of course, yes, I will increase that. Everybody forgets. Yeah, and if you have any questions, of course, you can ask at the end. Olesia is also here online, so she can also answer your questions at the end of the presentation. So let me start by briefly describing what I'm going to discuss today. I will start by discussing our research motivation, why we decided to do this research in the first place. Then I will focus on the research methodology, so what exactly we did, all the steps of our research. It will be followed by the results. So I will discuss what we actually found out. And in the end, I will finish with like possible research implications and our future plans with that research. So let me begin by discussing the research motivation. There were actually like several reasons for that research. As I said, we focus on, we work at the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, so we work with engineering students, and we know that this is a very rapidly changing field. So we know that we need to catch up with the changing industries. And we know that the Czech labor market, engineering labor market, is changing every year, and it's more and more international. So we see that the needs are changing, and we just want to catch up with our students. So that was the first reason why we decided to conduct this needs analysis. And the second one, the second reason was actually materials obsolescence, materials that we use with our students, and student dissatisfaction with some of the topics, with some of the aspects that we discuss with them in class. Let me just briefly tell you what I mean by that. Let's start with materials obsolescence. I will focus on our bachelor students first. They are actually taught, they are provided with 4 English for mechanical engineers courses at our university. These are taught with those 4 textbooks that you can see in the slides. And these materials are nice because they were actually created by our teachers. They were created by our Institute of Applied Language Studies at the University of West Bohemia. However, they were created in year 2013. So we believe that with those rapid changes in the engineering industry, this might be a little bit outdated. So we decided to focus on that. That was the first reason. And the second reason is this. Our master students are actually provided with English for academic purposes courses. These are mandatory language courses for them. They need to take them. And they are taught with this textbook, Oxford English for Academic Purposes at C1 level, which is quite high. This book is not outdated. This is great. And it focuses on many useful academic skills. However, the problem is that it is not tailored for engineering students, and it focused on topics like economics, psychology, or natural sciences. So this is not interesting for our engineering students, obviously. So they were expressing dissatisfaction with the topics discussed. So we decided to take that into consideration and just check what expectations they have about their English courses. So this leads me directly to the second part of the presentation, which is the research itself and the methodology that we use. We divided our research into a few steps, and today I will be focusing on step one. This part of our research used a quantitative method of a questionnaire. So we just prepared a questionnaire in Czech, of course, for our students, and we used Google Forms, as you can see in the slide, and we send them an email with this questionnaire and with a message in Czech. You can see a sentence in Czech. It means, please help us improve your English courses. So that was the main message that we sent them, and we were so happy. Maybe you can see it's quite small, but maybe you can see that we received 100 responses from our students. So it motivated us even more, because we actually realized, probably they think the courses need changes when they replied so eagerly. So we realized that, and this was actually another thing that motivated us to continue with the research. So as I said, we conducted this questionnaire. We sent them the questionnaire, and let me just briefly show you what questions we asked, what we actually asked them about. We divided the questionnaire into 3 sets of questions. The first set of questions focused on our students' expectations of using English at future workplace. And here we focused on business skills, various, not engineering per se, but business skills, something that might be needing in the future. So for example, we asked them, how often do you think you will be sending business emails? How often do you think you will be attending international business meetings, and so on and so forth? So that was the first set of questions. The second set of questions focused on useful language skills, and here we focused on academic skills. That was the main focus of this section. So we asked them about how do you believe that it's important for engineers to be able to summarize a text, or to be able to take notes effectively, to be able to write academic essays or abstracts. So that was the second set of questions focused on academic skills. And the last question that was specifically for engineers. So we asked about various technical topics, what they find important or less important, what they want to discuss in class with us, and what vocabulary they want to focus on. So this was the first step of our research. It was conducted in April and May this year, so in the spring. There's a second step. However, this is the future. We are planning to do that at the beginning of next year, January, February, probably. And this step will use a quantitative method of interviews. So we will choose a few students from the group that actually filled out the questionnaire, and we'll ask them additional questions to gain some more information. And we are also planning to interview prospective employers just to check if what our students expect is what the employers need. Because sometimes it may differ, obviously. Sometimes the students actually have no idea what they might be needing in the future. So that will be our next step. This is planned for the beginning of next year. So that was everything I wanted to mention about methodology. Now we can move on to the results. As I said, today I'm focusing on the paper that describes first step only. So the questionnaire, the quantitative method, and I will be discussing the results of the questionnaire. And we divided the results, or actually we analyzed the questionnaire using descriptive statistics and using inferential statistics. So we have some specific data, just summarization of what we have in the questionnaire, but also some assumption based on inferential statistics. So let me begin with descriptive statistics. Here you have all the responses we received from the first set of questions. The main question for the first set was, how often do you think you will do the following? And here the students were voting from 1 very often to 5 never. And as you can see, let me just show you some elements of the graph. You can of course find that in the paper. If you are more interested, you can read it in more detail in the paper. But as you can see, the students find it important, or they believe that they will be often, for example, write formal emails. They will be often write technical documentation. So here they focus on writing skills, business writing skills, and they also think they will be making work phone calls, negotiating, debating, participating in international meetings. So here we can see a lot of speaking skills. So our conclusion after seeing the results was that when it comes to business skills, the students believe that writing skills and speaking skills are more or less like equally important. So that's what we realized after analyzing the results. Now I would like to move on to the second set of questions, which focused on academic skills. And here the main question was, how important are the following skills for your future career? 1, very important, up to 4 are important. And here we noticed that many students believe that, for example, scanning new texts, making effective notes, making a project preview, summarizing information, expressing ideas effectively, these are very important to them. But as you can see, most of the things they marked as important focus on speaking, focus on reading, listening, no much on writing in this case. And you can notice that writing academic articles, like most of our students said, unimportant or almost useless practically. So that was like kind of a signal for us because this does not correspond with what we expect them in the academic English course, obviously. And because one of the basic requirements for this course is to write an academic essay. Yeah, so we just realized, does it mean that we teach something they don't need? Does it mean that we need to redesign the courses? Because most of them find it unimportant. So the next step of the research was to just answer that question. How can we be sure if that's not important? So we used inferential statistics for that. And we divided all the skills, all the questions from the questionnaire into skills, into speaking skills, reading skills, listening skills, and writing skills. And today I will focus on speaking skills because here we noticed something very interesting. We divided those questions into skills, and we calculated correlation coefficients for all those skills. And today I would like to show you the correlation matrix for speaking skills. As you can see here, we compared or we calculated correlations for 4 specific speaking skills: making phone calls, attending international business meetings, debating, and presenting in front of people. And here we notice that there are very strong correlations because the values, they vary from 0.3 up to 0.7, which is quite strong. So we realized that the students, many students focus on those speaking skills. And what does it mean here? It means that when a student, for example, marked making business phone calls as important, it was highly likely they will also consider, for example, attending business meetings as important. So we realized that when somebody believes speaking skills are crucial, many of their responses focused on speaking skills. We also have correlation metrics, for example, for writing skills, for reading, listening, but the correlation was not that strong, as we can notice in this matrix focused on speaking skills. So that was the next step. We used the inferential statistics to compare or to calculate correlations between skills. And now we took after doing that and after noticing those strong correlations, we took speaking skills and we took writing skills and we compare these two. So what we received is that we received a negative correlation of minus 0.77, very strong negative correlation. We did that using factor analysis, and we just realized one thing. There are two factors that influenced our students' responses. Of course, we have that thanks to that analysis, but now the next step was to name those factors, because the factor analysis doesn't give us the name of those factors. So we needed to create a hypothesis what factors actually influence our students' responses. So actually my colleague Olesia Petrenko, she came up with this idea that we can name those factors pursuing further education or finding a job as soon as possible after graduation. So these were two factors that influenced their responses. Yeah, and of course, this is just an assumption, and we need to check that. We need to check that. And this leads me directly to implications and further research. That's step 2 of our research. So we have this hypothesis that those factors that influenced our students' responses were either pursuing further education or trying to find a job as soon as possible. And we are planning to choose or select a few students from the group that filled out our questionnaire and ask them the question, are you planning to pursue further education? Are you planning to find a job you're not planning to continue with, for example, a PhD? Because it comes without saying that probably for somebody who wants to pursue with a PhD, they want to focus on writing skills a lot, writing academic abstract, writing academic essays. And somebody who wants to find a job, they will be speaking on the phone, they will be attending meetings a lot. So we want to conduct those interviews and check if that's actually the case. If this hypothesis is confirmed, we might need to redesign our courses because let's be honest, like most students don't start a PhD. It's just a small group of them. So we'll see if that's the case. If that's the case, we will definitely be redesigning our academic for English for academic purposes courses. So let me just briefly summarize what I have just said. As I said, like the motivation for our research was mainly rapidly changing in the engineering industry, also materials obsolescence, and our students' dissatisfaction with some of the topics discussed in the class. So this led us to this questionnaire that we ask our students to fill out. And according to the results we received, we observed we found 2 unobserved factors that influenced our students' behavior, and we labeled them. We named them pursuing further education or finding a job right after graduation. So the question is, what's next? And as I said, that's our plan for the future. We're planning to interview the students and check if this hypothesis is correct. After that, we are also planning to interview prospective employers and see if what the students expect is what the employers need. Yeah, and we will see. This is probably the final step for our research. More details can be, of course, can be found in the paper if you are interested. Also, the resources can be found in the paper. So thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Olesia, I'm sure